A sinking ship. It has been rough sailing for this politician for the past months. The filing of graft charges against him last March before the Ombudsman and the conviction of his PhilRice top executive, who then reported to him as chairman, may have convinced many people that the corruption allegations against him could really be true. One interesting question to ask is this: even after a case was filed against him before the office of the Ombudsman, why is he still blatantly and boldly engaged in allegedly corrupt activities? Normally, if a public official is caught red-handed, he would most likely suspend or put on hold his shady dealings until the issues have cooled down a bit. But POs after POs, and contracts after contracts, the transactions don't seem to stop. Which therefore led us to investigate what is the deep financial motive behind this misbehavior. My team of investigators found out that in the last 2019 election, 12 large local businessmen supported him financially. 1. A local Chinese businessman with various interests from malls to beach resorts, food retail franchises, agribusiness etc., gave a $120 million contribution. $80 million for campaign election spending. As for the $40 million, the businessman personally distributed this in northern Bohol towns to support his candidacy. 2. A local Chinese family who owns a large hardware supply business, a construction firm, a hotel, etc., gave $80 million. 3. A Chinese family who owns malls, resort hotels, various agribusinesses, a construction supply business etc., gave $12 million. 4. A Chinese family who owns a shopping market and other various business interests also gave $12 million. 5. Another donor banker with links to power and water businesses also contributed an undisclosed amount. 6. A businessman who is into construction aggregates gave $25 million. In total there were around 12 large local businessmen, mostly Chinese, who gave financial support. What prompted them to donate was perhaps their fear of the other candidate promising to implement minimum wage laws on all businesses in the province. That candidate had to lose by all means at all costs. However, this opponent was quite strong in surveys. He enjoys popular support from voters. Hence, additional funds were badly needed to snatch a victory in the election. He borrowed money from additional 6 investors based outside the province. One of them is a businessman with interest in power and water distribution. Some contractors and investors from Cebu also lent him money. The agreement was that these donors will get something in return in terms of deals with the capital. The investors will be paid from the commissions and cuts he makes from various projects and transactions. But what happened was he did not make good his part of the deal. In fact, last year when the government was supposed to distribute rice assistance, one businessman was expecting a rice purchase from the provincial government. He was already stocking up on the inventory. But the contract went to Pangasinan suppliers. The businessman of course was very furious with this move. Investors are now complaining because he is quite evasive lately. He doesn't show up in meetings. Does not answer phone calls. It seems like he has no plans of settling his obligations to those who have helped him financially. For next year's elections, the support from these 12 local business families has become a big question mark. Given this uncertainty, perhaps this could explain why he is hoarding money to anticipate possible financial challenges which he needs to overcome, especially with his image now further tarnished with many corruption allegations. Not to mention his growing unpopularity with doctors, priests, LSIs, OFWs, independent media, tourism workers, and even ordinary residents victimized by his incompetent and weak leadership. I posted recently about 4 businessmen urging a congressman to run for governor. These 4 are part of the 12 businessmen I mentioned above. It only goes to show they cannot take him anymore. He has to be kicked out. It is a very tough situation for him now. All eyes are on his every move. Every decision. Every appointment. Every purchase. And waiting for every mistake which he cannot afford to continue doing. This makes it more difficult for him to accumulate more than the $700 million needed to win next year. It looks to me everything is headed downhill from here. So who will step up and be brave enough to rise up to the challenge? Who is willing and ready to serve the people and bring change to the province? That remains to be seen. As they say, patience is a virtue. I highly await the developments in the next couple of months. God bless you all.